at home and following all the precautionary measures. Apart from that, also studying and completing your work in time. So before starting with today's class, let me tell you the thought for the day. And the thought for the day says, you will never have this day again. So make it count. Now, what does this thought mean? It means that time will never come back. What you have got today, you will not get it tomorrow again. So you should respect time and do all possible and positive things that you could do on that particular day or that particular moment or time, so that in future you don't regret it. So always be active, be alert, be punctual, and make use of the day, make use of the moment that you have got. Make it such a moment, make it a memorable one, not only for you, but for everybody around you. So let's continue with our class today. In our previous class, we had seen how Mrs. Pearson is behaving, how Mrs. Pearson is behaving with her family, and the family is not able to digest the way Mrs. Pearson had been behaving. Entry of Mrs. Fitzgerald again some way affects the situation. The family is not liking presence of Mrs. Fitzgerald at home during this crucial time. And let's see today what happens next. Will the family come to know what has taken place or what had happened with Mrs. Pearson? So for that, let's continue with the chapter. We are on page number 48 and then towards the end of the page. So we had seen how George Pearson, he shouts, he scolds, he shouts at Mrs. Pearson, which Mrs. Pearson is not going to take, and then she replies, if you shout at me again like that, George Pearson, I'll slap your big fat silly face. So Mrs. Pearson does not like the way George Pearson speaks to her, and she gives him a warning that if next time he misbehaves or talks to her in such a manner, she will not tolerate and she may slap him on his big fat silly face. Listening to which Mrs. Fitzgerald is very much upset, nervous, and then she speaks in between. Oh no, 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 please, Mrs. Fitzgerald, Mrs. Pearson, sits. So we know that inside Mrs. Fitzgerald, it is the soul of Mrs. Pearson, who is very soft-spoken, who loves her family very much, and she really cannot tolerate somebody talking in this way to her family, especially to her husband. So she is all baffled, she is all confused. And then George speaks in between, staring at her bewildered. Either I am off my chum or you two are. How do you mean? No, no, please, Mrs. Fitzgerald. Look, you are Mrs. Fitzgerald. So why are you telling yourself to stop when you are not doing anything? Tell her to stop. Then there would be some sense in it. So now George Pearson, he notices what is said by Mrs. Fitzgerald. And then he says, either I have gone mad or you too, there is something wrong with you too. Now tell me, what is the sense of telling yourself to stop? Right? There would be a sense if you tell my wife, that is Mrs. Pearson, to stop, then there may be some sense into the thing. But now telling yourself to stop when you are not doing anything does not make any sense to me. Mrs. Pearson, staring up savagely. Say that again, George Pearson. So now already Mrs. Pearson had given warning to George And then she is very angry and aggressive, and she is saying, she is telling to George Pearson to repeat his words once again. George, all right, all right, all right. So George also remembers, and maybe somewhere he is also of the thought that if he repeats or if he says anything, maybe whatever Mrs. Pearson had warned him of, she may really do it. So he surrenders, and then Doris enters left slowly. Looking miserable, she is still wearing the wrap. Mrs. Pearson sits on the settee. Mrs. Fitzgerald, hello Doris dear. Hello Mrs. Fitzgerald. I thought you were going out with Charlie Spence tonight. So as Doris comes into the scene in the room, Mrs. Pearson wishes her, and then she also replies, and then Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is saying, oh, I thought today you're going to go out, right, with Charlie Spence. And then Doris is very annoyed with this thought. Right? She is very much angry because there had been lot of tensions over this, going out with Charlie Spence. And then she says, what's that you to do with? Stop that. No, it's all right. So she says, what have you to do with that? With whomever I will go or I will not go. How does it matter to you? So Mrs. Pearson, she is trying to check on her. She is trying to stop her from misbehaving. And then Mrs. Fitzgerald, she says, no, it's okay, perfectly okay, no issues. But then Mrs. Pearson, it isn't all right. I won't have a daughter of mine talking to anybody like that. Now answer Mrs. Fitzgerald properly, Doris, or go upstairs again. Doris looks wonderingly at her father. So when Mrs. Fitzgerald tries to stop Mrs. Pearson saying anything to Doris, Mrs. Pearson says, no, it's not all right. She should learn. She's my daughter and she should learn how to talk and how to behave with the people. And if she doesn't know, it's better that she goes back to her room rather than staying here in front of the guests. And then Doris is all again surprised and wondering what is happening, what is wrong. She is also not able to understand, and with that wondering look, she looks at her father. George, in despair, in all sadness, don't look at me. I give it up. I just give it up. So father has surrendered, and he makes it very clear to the daughter that don't look at me for any help. I have simply surrendered. I have given up the things. Now I don't know what is happening and what to do. Mrs. Pearson, well, answer her. I was going out with Charlie Spence tonight, but now I have called it off. So again Mrs. Pearson makes it sure that whatever was asked by Mrs. Fitzgerald, Doris answers to it. Then she says, yes, I wanted to go out, but due to some reason I have cancelled the program for today. Oh, what a pity, dear. What have you? So again Mrs. Fitzgerald, that is Mrs. Pearson's soul, she is very sad, very upset. Why? Because her daughter's plan had been cancelled, and somewhere she is thinking herself to be responsible for it. And as she is saying, again what happened, Doris speaks in between and she says, because if you must know, my mother's been going on at me, making me feel miserable and saying he's got buck teeth and is half bitter. And as she's saying, she continues, because you know the reason why I have cancelled my program? Because my mother had been making fun of me and she had been telling me that the boy with whom I'm going out, he is buck teeth and he is half bitter, he is all stupid. And because of that only I thought I should cancel my program. Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald, rather bolder to Mrs. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. Mrs. Pearson, Mrs. Fitzgerald, I'll manage my family, you manage yours. So when hearing what Mrs. Pearson, who has the soul of Mrs. Fitzgerald, has said about Charlie Spence, Mrs. Fitzgerald, in whom there is a soul of Mrs. Pearson, she says her, you should not have said like this. To which Mrs. Pearson very boldly says, I know how to handle my family, I can manage my family. You please stay out of it. Do not interrupt in our family matters. George, ticking her off now. Are you Annie? So George is unable to believe that this is his wife. So he's just ticking at her and he's asking, are you Annie or somebody else? Mrs. Pearson, even more grimly, she becomes more serious and she says, they are waiting for you at the club, George. Don't forget. And don't you start crying again, Doris. So, as Mr. Pearson, George Pearson, speaks, she says, again reminds them of that he is supposed to go to club. People are waiting there, and she's asking, are you not going to the club? Everybody is waiting for you at the club. And she gives a warning to Doris not to cry, not to continue with her crying. Mrs. Fitzgerald getting up with sudden decision. That's enough, quite enough. So Mrs. Fitzgerald, who actually is Mrs. Pearson, she's unable to bear all these things. She cannot stand all these things now, and she stands and she starts saying, repeating his words, enough, enough. That means she wants all this thing what is going on to be stopped right now. George and Doris stare at her bewildered. So after listening the things from Mrs. Fitzgerald, George and Doris, they are surprised, they are shocked. Why is this lady saying that it's enough, enough? It's we who should be saying it for our mother or wife. To George and Doris. Now listen you two. I want to have a private little talk with Mrs. Fitz. She corrects herself hastily with Mrs. Pearson. So I will be obliged if you will leave us alone for a few minutes. I'll let you know when we have finished. Go on, please. I promise that you won't regret it. There's something here that only I can deal with. So now Mrs. Fitzgerald, she says to Doris and George that I want you to excuse us for some time because I have something very important and urgent to talk to Mrs. Fitz. And as she is about to say Fitzgerald, she stops herself and corrects to Mrs. Pearson. And she says, believe me, after I have finished talking with her, the things will change and it will be in your benefit. So kindly do excuse us. George rising, I am glad somebody can, cause I can't come on. Doris. So he says, he stands and he says, I am glad, I am happy that somebody can deal with the matter. Somebody can put the things into right place because I am not able to. And then he stands and he says Doris also to come along with him. George and Doris exit left. As they go, Mrs. Fitzgerald moves to left of the small table and sits. She eagerly beckons Mrs. Pearson to do the same thing. So now both George and Doris have left, and then Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is moving towards the table and she is sitting and she beckons. She tells Mrs. Fitzgerald and Mrs. Pearson also to come and sit with her. Mrs. Fitzgerald, we must change back now. We really must. Mrs. Pearson rising. Why? Mrs. Fitzgerald, because this has gone far enough. I can see they are all miserable and I can't bear it. So Mrs. Fitzgerald says to real Mrs. Fitzgerald that now I think we must stop this here. We must interchange our souls back. To which Mrs. Pearson, who is really Mrs. Fitzgerald, says, why? Let's continue with it for some more time. And she says, no, no, no. I think it's too much that has taken place now. And now we must really stop. I cannot see them so miserable. I really cannot tolerate it. Mrs. Pearson, well, if you insist. Yes, I do. Please, please. So Mrs. Fitzgerald Pearson says, okay, if you insist, let us change ourselves. And then Mrs. Fitzgerald also agrees to her. So now they both stretch their hands, and across the table eagerly, Mrs. Pearson takes them. Quite now relax. So now what has happened? She is like relaxed. Now when they are interchanging their souls, she is relaxed. She feels happy. And then what does she say? She says that Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald stare at each other, muttering exactly as before, Arashta dum, Arashta lam, Arashta lam bodan, Arashta lam dum bona, Arashta dum, Arashta lam, Arashta lam dum bona. So this is the spell. This is the spell that they repeat in order to interchange their souls. And then all of a sudden what happens? They carry out the same action as before, going relaxed and then coming to life. But this time, of course, they become their proper personalities. So everything what has happened in the beginning of the lesson takes place, and this time again the souls are changed, and then what happens with the interchange of the soul, they have again come back to their own personalities. So now at this time, if we are playing this, if we are staging this play, we should again keep in mind that both these females, they acquire their original traits of speaking and all. Okay? Mrs. Fizzle, well, I enjoyed that. Mrs. Pearson, I didn't. Well, you ought to have done. Now listen. So now Mrs. Fitzgerald says she was loving it. Playing this thing, what she's been doing, she really loved it. But Mrs. Pearson was upset regarding it. So now before going, Mrs. Fitzgerald tells her that I'll tell you what you have to do now. Mrs. Pearson, don't go soft on them again, else it will all have been wasted. So she says, she tells her that do not again be soft with them. Otherwise, whatever we have done till now, it is all going to get spoiled. Everything will be ruined. So I suggest you not to be very soft with them, but rather maintain a regular pace. A behavior should be well balanced, so that again they don't try or don't think of making you suffer or taking advantage of you. I'll try not to, Mrs. Fitzgerald, to which Mrs. Pearson says, I will try. She is still not confident that she can behave in the way what Mrs. Fitzgerald is telling her. But rather she says, I will try. And then Mrs. Fitzgerald, they have not had as long as I would like to have given them. Another hour or two's rough treatment might have made it certain. So Mrs. Fitzgerald, who was really enjoying all these things, she says, I still feel that they should have given the same treatment for another 1 or 2 hours, right? For another couple of hours, that would have really put them in right places forever. And to which Mrs. I am sure they will do better now, though I don't know how I am going to explain. So but Mrs. Pearson says that I am very sure that now at least a little bit of behavior change will be there in all of them. They will change a little bit, but only thing I am worried about is I don't know how I am going to explain them all the things that why I was behaving like this, or what explanations I would be giving them for my behavior. To which Mrs. Fitzgerald gets angry and she says, don't you start any explaining or apologizing, or you are done for. So she says, she warns her, don't start apologizing or explaining anything. If you start doing that, all what we have done will be spoiled. So do not explain anything, do not apologize for anything. And then Mrs. Pearson, it's all right for you, Mrs. Fitzgerald. After all, they aren't your husband and children. So she says, it's all right for you, right? Maybe for you everything is fine because they are not your family. It's difficult to treat our family rudely. To the outsiders, it seems very easy to be rude, to fight with them, but to be rude with our own family, to fight with our own family, she says, is very difficult thing. And then Mrs. Fitzgerald says, now you listen to me. You admitted yourself you were spoiling them, and they didn't appreciate you. Any apologies, any explanations, and you will be straight back where you were. I am warning you, dear. Just give them a look, a tone of voice. Now and again to suggest you might be tough with them if you wanted to be, and it ought to work. Anyhow, we can test it. So Mrs. Fitzgerald says that now listen to me. First thing, you yourself said that you wanted to improve your position in the family. You wanted that these people's behavior towards you should change. Right? You admitted this. And then now, after all these things, what I have tried to do, if you apologize, if you try explaining them the things, this will again put you in the similar position, in the position where you were. So, avoid doing that. And I am warning you, she says, that if you just give them a change of voice, a change of tone, then it will be very bad. So, I suggest you that you might be tough on them, that you should be a bit tough. Not as I was doing it, but a little bit of strictness is needed, and in between if you see their behavior keeps changing, you should be giving them hints that if they do this, you may again go back to the mode how you were behaving with them. So maybe this will really bring some changes in your family. So she says, if you want, you can test. And she's asked, Mrs. Pearson is asking how. So she says, well, what is it you would like them to do that they don't do? Stop at home for once? So Mrs. Fitzgerald is asking, let us check. And how do we check? So she's asking Mrs. Pearson what you want them to do. Maybe to stay at home once, which they never stay at home after coming back from office. So should we try doing this? And then Mrs. Pearson, she agrees and she says yes, and give me a hand with supper. So she says yes. And apart from staying at home, I also want them to help me. Give me a hand, help me in preparing today's supper, that is the dinner. Anything you would like them to do that you enjoy, whether they do or not. So again Mrs. Fitzgerald says anything, whatever you like, whether those people, whether your family likes it or no, that is not the matter. The matter is, the thing of concern is what you want them to do, what you like them to do. So we'll stop here. In the next class we'll see whether this test really comes out to be successful or no. Has Mrs. Pearson's family really changed their ways and their behavior towards Mrs. Pearson or no? For all this, let's keep waiting for our next class. Until we meet, let's keep experiencing, learning and stay safe at home. Take care.